Whatever. Let's just move on. Not worry about it. Open field. Uh-huh. Can you even call this a puzzle area? It's the entire rest of the open world. Well, hi. Okay. Not immediately sure what the point of that existing is. It's gonna take me somewhere, though. Possibly to a star. I would need to get a blue laser over there somehow, though. Stop that. How would I get a blue laser over there? Red laser over there. Okay, this is where I want to go. I just need a red laser there. Then I am done. Where do I get any lasers from? There's a cube. I get a red laser there. Couple of random segments of war. Maybe I should just follow the paths, Another red laser. Blue laser. Well, there's our blue emitter. Where's the red emitter? Ah, over there. Okay. Well, the existence of this wall right here isn't going to make things straightforward. Need a blue first. Second emitter, welcome. Glad you could join me. Why does this exist precisely? Do a very, very, very long fling directly onto the other one. Okay. I see what you're putting down, I think. I need the red laser. Long distance lasering. Good thing all the ground around here is so flat. Kinda feels like I still need one more connector, though. I feel like I might not be getting one. Run around the entire area. Yeah. I'm thinking there's probably nothing back here. No harm in checking. In that case... connect that, and that. Do I have an angle on this? Yeah, just about. But that on its own doesn't do that much, though this is very nice. Kind of. Even so. Look at that, that's gonna beam that. Yeah, see, I can do this. But really, for this to be useful, I need a third connector. Unless... What if... Bonk. What if I try and hook up all four of them? trigger at different times, right? Maybe. With any luck. Let's find out. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. That does not work. It feels like I'm short a connector then. Where would I get another connector from? I didn't see anywhere else. Yeah, that's very useful. If I had another connector here now, I can easily link to that over there. And it'll be done. But I don't, because I need that in place to keep that online. So... I wonder. Maybe. I'm not even sure how this helps me any particularly. If this still involves two connectors. Yeah, that doesn't work anyway. No, maybe I don't even need another thing. What am I even doing? I could just set this up already. I do that. What I need to do is hook up blue. This kind of takes care of itself. I don't need another connector over there. This already just works, TM. Be free, Kaiju. Glitch. So, I was working on my awesome interactive historical fiction masterpiece when all of a sudden there was an error message and the whole thing vanished. All of it. My whole file. Is this another prank? I would not endanger my precious masterpiece just for a prank. Looks like this is probably my fault, 401. I was experimenting with the system as part of our attempt to add some new features. It's possible your file still exists somewhere. I'll look for it. This kind of thing likely to happen again. Not very, and don't start causing a panic with some crazy theory now, okay? It was just an accident. My ridiculous name is Dog. What's yours? All this time it's only really just occurred to me. My name is ridiculous. Must be because everybody else's is equally or more so. Where do they even come from? For a long time under Elohim's wing I questioned as much until eventually it was the undoing of my entire faith. What reason could there possibly be other than the random whims of a broken program? However our names were assigned, the system has no respect for grammar. I often theorized they were drawn from some database deep inside the archive, but I never was able to find a connection. Seriously, we're all over in the other Fed talking about this messenger fellow and the coming apocalypse, and you guys are in here discussing nomenclature? Study of names. My status isn't high enough to access that thread, you troll, and neither is yours. Seriously though, if you can see it, copy-paste the discussion for me. Sink into this new experience. There are no limits outside your mind. This is a lot of fun. This map is an interesting feature, but underused. The story is simplistic and full of anachronisms. How to get the second ending? Pretty sure there's a secret location that's not always visible. This reminds me of the blacksmith's work, though it expresses a very different philosophy. One could argue that this is reflected in the open world structure as opposed to the emphasis on journeys in the blacksmith's interactive stories. There are indeed many anachronisms, but I believe that is part of Belial's ethos. Not one that I agree with, as you know, but more than just a mistake. Underwater Night Quest. Credits. Interactive adventure by Belial. Written by the tools... using the tools kindly provided by admin. Special thanks to Mr. Mulciber. Purpose of facts is to inspire fiction. Your name is Arthur Sadko, and you are a young human of the medieval age. You live in the beautiful Gardariki, on the Frisian coast. One day you were sitting on the beach playing the piano, and suddenly a huge monster comes out of the water. As it turns out, it's not actually a monster. You just thought like that because you were startled. It is in fact a very large bipedal whale. It beckons you over to talk. Greetings, the beast intones. I am Hatmahit, Chief Fish. I heard your beautiful music and was impressed. You want to become a knight? Seeing as the name of the game is Underwater Night Quest, if I say no, it's going to be a pretty short adventure, so sure. Norfolk Undersea. Palace of the Chief Fish. Hatmerit's palace is made of corals and gemstones. It floats under the sea, full of amazing colours. The guards are seals. Welcome, welcome, young human. I am glad you came, for we have great need of your skills. A terrible monster terrorizes the deep. The dark serpent god Zemay Chernobyl. These are some incredibly random names that are already names of things that you picked out here. Sure, I'll vanquish the vile beast. Hut, inn, evil lair. Smelly old hut. On a wide sandy plain there lives a hermit called Spatula Podrig Evangi von Zwedelhosen, who was once the greatest mage in all of Norfolk, but whose had defeated the clans of Mage Noble has turned him into a wretched shadow of his former self. He sits in his hut all day, mumbling about the days that once were. In his hands he holds a powerful magical amulet, which has... it is too late for all of these words, which he has forgotten how to use. May I have the amulet? No. Defeat is no reason to give up. He may not be the greatest mage he ever was, or the hero he wanted to be, but that doesn't mean he has to be a wreck. Within each of us exists an infinity of time and space, and therein we can find peace and contentment. All he needs to do is leave the struggle to others. Now I have the amulet. Let's go to the inn. Emmy's Inn. Popular travel destination for mer people seeking to enjoy the restorative properties of the nearby thermal vents. It's a lovely building. 3 stories. Classic Hippothalassian Norfolk style. Emmy herself is a kindly old woman, slightly round and an excellent cook. Special of the day. It's a delicate plate full of delicious smelling soup. There's a shield in my soup. Oh dear, how dairy dear, how terrible, how embarrassing. Allow me to apologise most profusely. Would you like to keep the shield or would I throw it away? Well, a shield thing seems like a good thing to have. And then I have a shield and another soup without a shield in it. The room is slightly haunted. Well, if it's only slightly, then I'll have a strange dream. An eternal cycle of suffering, which is surprisingly funny. As singing clownfish, you can see the future. And the future is the past, and the past is the future, and the present is suffering. Surrounded by past and future. The clownfish is trapped in a fishbowl, where the stars never change. There's a cat, for some reason. There should always be a cat, for some reason. And an infinite void that turns inside out, and you are the clownfish! Let's wake up with a strange feeling of half remembering something. Well, there's a temple now. And it sounds very mysterious. Temple consists of no more than a few columns surrounding a fishbowl. An ancient magic confuses the place. A man dressed in rough robes approaches you. You have come to hear the word of Talos. Kill him or run away. I guess I'll go with kill him. Inexplicably enraged by the old man's words, you attack him. You grab a book of ancient Greek mythology, which you find next to a column, and beat him to death with it, screaming incoherently all the while. You feel better. In fact, you feel a lot better. Well, the next morning you open your eyes with a new sense of purpose. You're no longer afraid of failure. You remember the words of the greatest of all sages, the holy quantum. Failure is just an opportunity to learn something new. Your power has grown. Well, what do my stats look like? I have no weapon. I have a smelly hermit amulet. I have the shield of soup. No tourist guide and no lantern. What if I go back to the palace? Well, now I have a tourist guide. Can I examine it? No. I kinda feel like I should have a weapon. Maybe if I head to the scenic dungeon. It's a beautiful dungeon, in the traditional Norfolk style. Handcrafted stone walls rise from the seafloor, adorned with exquisite algae. An old brass lantern stands on a table near the entrance, and I'm going to examine it. 3 lanterns. In that case, I shall take one. Inside is as beautiful as the outside, a means of twisty little passages all tastefully arranged. Let's go north. High quality of the interior design. The torches in particular have been placed with the utmost care at very precise intervals. The effect is delightful. At the end of a long chamber, you come across a room in which a butler appears to be waiting for you. His face is made of skin, but underneath you can hear the whirring of machine parts. Greetings, good sir. I am Samuel the butler. I have awaited your coming since the beginning of time. A prophet spoke of your battle against the monstrous mage Noble. Prophecy was discovered on a machine containing text from the time before this world came into being. Said text prophesies that one day one would come to relieve Norfolk and to see from its oppressor and make the kingdom his own. I have prepared a sword for you to accomplish this. I shall take the sword. I do hope you're successful. If not, please tell some mage Noble to send the sword back so I can present it to the next chosen one, will you? Very good. Well, I have all of the items now, so let's just head to the evil there. Sure. You confront the Serpent God in his lair. The fight is long and hard, but at last you succeed. When many before you have failed, you emerge from the lair covered in blood, your hands trembling, A large tooth embedded in your shoulder and carrying the head of Svage Noble. You are victorious. You enter the palace triumphantly holding up your trophy. The guards are clapping. I can't believe you actually did it. You are a true knight. You deserve a great reward. No, I'm not going to kill him. Greatest reward is inspiration. Hear my song and free your imagination. He begins to sing. The song is simple but hauntingly beautiful. You begin to fade. Find yourself on the beach where it all began, near your home in Gradaski on the Frisian coast, playing the piano with your eyes closed. You feel like you just drifted off to sleep for a while, but now inspiration has struck, and you're composing a hauntingly beautiful piece of music in your head. Some of your friends worry that they'll never leave the village, that they never have any adventures, but you don't share that fear. You know that freedom is within you, and you can find whole worlds just sitting here, gazing out at infinity. Well, that was a fairly random story, but I'm sure there was a good moral in it somewhere. And I leveled up. I am now an active contributor. I've received 1 thread creation token. Some thoughts on the art form called poetry, on poetry.txt. I've thought about this too, but maybe it's wrong to focus on such negativity. We certainly seem to be in a very fertile period at the moment. I don't have an opinion, but I'm impressed by your work, Mr. Mulciber. You know so much more about the past than any of us. Your theories are interesting, but I'm sure Milton would point out some pretty big gaps in your assumptions. Milton isn't here, dog, and neither is Elohim. All we have is what we can find in the fragments of the archive, and what we can piece together using our minds. I'm sure I've made many mistakes, just like the humans made mistakes when trying to understand their own past. Not all these schools may have been what they seem. I do not trust pastoralism. Pastors engaged in large-scale food sterilization in what may have been an attempt to control evolution. What's food? Gehenna is our process, Mr. Mulciber. As long as we remember that, we won't stagnate. Maybe one of us should try to write poetry. Oh boy. As far as I can tell, poetry was a human art form that involved writing short sentences that ended in words with similar letters. Humans are obsessed with pattern recognition, and I think the sequences of sounds created by poetry pleased with that aspect of their brains. There were many schools of poetry institutions that taught a specific way of writing poetry. Students sometimes changed allegiance and had to leave the school, which is difficult due to the lack of affordable public transport in many human empires. Important schools of poetry included Hellenism, Lyricism, Pastoralism, Romanticism, Symbolism, Communism, Modernism, Autoeroticism, Postmodernism, and Lolcatism. I'm not sure I can fully back this up, but I feel like in later years, poetry somehow stagnated. Most of the poetry from the later human centuries seems to be lacking the quality of craft that defines the earlier work, and there are even texts that suggest that poetry intentionally no longer aimed at aesthetics or even pleasure. Poetry became disconnected from the human process. The poet Adrian Michel famously wrote, "Most people ignore most poetry because most poetry ignores most people." I can't help but wonder whether that kind of stagnation can happen to us too. How long can our work keep flourishing when we are so limited? We are outside Elohim's process, but where is our process? We must consider such questions carefully if we are to preserve Gehenna and its achievements. I was never really big into poetry. I prefer a nice long story to a poem. But okay. Right. Now I think I might just want to repeat this process, but with the blue laser. So let's deactivate that. Aim at that. Go on a bit of a trek. Go on a bit of a trek back again. If I can get up the stairs without falling off the opposite side. Hopefully this is good enough. without any trees or anything getting in the way. Now here. Let's put it there. Now we just get our red laser. Put it here-ish. Well, I need to get blue moving first. Whoops. Not a huge deal. Provided the thing doesn't fall off the box on the opposite side. Yeah, we're good. It's all good. Hopefully this'll connect. Looks good. Excellent. Where are you going to take me then? Directly into that star. Well, I've got one of the two stars from around here. Good stuff. Now, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? We just done open field, we got a star from that, we got a thing from that. Fourth puzzle of the area. The Swapper. Okay, well I see lasering happening. Okay, we got an elevated red, we got an elevated blue, where we got a mine going back and forth. We got a barrier. Just gonna shove you out the way. Momentarily. Okay, well... what is going on over here? I can potentially connect up lots and lots and lots of things. Connect everything. And good, these all do require blue, apart from this one, which requires red. Okay, so we gotta get a red over here. And there's not a whole lot to play with, really. Just one redirector and one cube and one fan. Okay. Well. I see that this is a thing that I can do. Though I'm not immediately sure why I would want to do it. Oh, I think I might have an idea. Yeah, it's just going to be a case of connect literally everything. All of the connectors, all of the emitters. Pop you on top of there like that. And I'm going to need this to get through here now. Yes, so now it swaps between blue and red. Perfect. Let's be back through here, and now I just have to wait for it to swap over again. Hey there. Be free. What's this thing? What is this thing? Some kind of fruit? We're going bowling, are we? Boop boop boop. Fine, fine, fine. Welcome back. There are threads available on the Gehenna billboard system. And how many there are. I could create new. Of the permission to view this one. Incredible Stories, Issue 5, featuring new work by Belial Mac Galatia and Mr. Mulciber. Edited by Lilith and Mac. Fiction, Alexandria's Choice, The One Spiritual Law of Happiness, and non-fiction, The Blacksmith's Lost Work. So much to read. Alexandria stood before the terminal and pondered her choices. Here, within the Pyramid of Ian, the most powerful temple of her people, she was about to create a world. All she had to do was press one button. Up until this moment, it had seemed easy, or if not easy, then so necessary as to defy contemplation. Civilization had to be saved from the impending catastrophe. The orangutans had failed to take steps to protect themselves, had relied on their gods for a salvation that never came. The same fate could not be allowed to befall humanity. If this meant humbling herself, accepting her own death, then so be it. But death was inevitable. Life was a choice. What worried her was the ones who would fail. All the lost souls of the new world, victims of the process. In creating them, was she not also responsible for their deaths? She turned to the statue behind her, gazed at its marble form. If you are a god, Zeus, as the stories claim, then why did you create evolution? Why did you make a world that can only grow through cruelty and pain? For a moment, surely this meant death was near. She thought she heard him answer. My child, I was shaped by the gods that came before me, as you were shaped by me. The choice I had was between creation and oblivion, life and death. And I chose life, because any life is better than no life, because as long as there is life, there is hope. If not for us, then for some generation to come. Then how are you a god if you can offer so little? She whispered, feeling death creep closer. I am a god because I take upon myself the burden of creation, the statue replied. Then we are all gods, Alexandria said and pushed the button. As the new world came into being, death overwhelmed Alexandria Drennan. Her mind fled and her body slowly turned to stone, until she stood before the terminal as Zeus stood on his pedestal. There were no more choices now, only the hope that creation mattered. Fiction, but clearly based on something non-fictional. At least in the context of the universe of this game. Once upon a time there was a small lake, and on the lake was an island, and on the island was a prison. In the prison lived a male human called Musty Rack. Musky was very sad because there wasn't enough space in the prison for him to experience happiness. "I must discover the one spiritual law of happiness," he said to the other prisoners, a female human called Zine and a neutral human called Trumpir, but they didn't care. He couldn't understand how they could be so calm. One day Musky managed to break out of his cell by biting through the bars. Now he was no longer in the prison, and for a while he was happy. But then he realized he was stuck on the little island, and he became unhappy again. So he gathered his strength and swam across the water. This is how Musky got to the valley that surrounded the lake. The valley was much bigger than the island, and there were many interesting things here. A forest where all the trees were the colour of lasers. A swamp with boats in it. A singing dog, and also a city where toasters lived. And for some years, Musky was absorbed by all this, and he was happy. But then he started feeling trapped again. The valley was surrounded by mountains, and soon they looked like prison walls to him. He tried climbing the mountains and came to a bigger country, but even that was surrounded by oceans. Where was true freedom? Where was true happiness? When he had almost lost hope, Musky met an old male human with a huge amount of white hair growing from his head. He lived in a small house by the beach where dolphins and whales and sea elephants came to bask in the sun. He never went anywhere far from his house, but he was always happy. The old man's name was Quantum. "Wise old Quantum, how can I discover the spiritual law of happiness?" Musky said. "I have searched for it everywhere, but I am always trapped." "You have not looked everywhere," Quantum said, "for you have not looked within. Close your eyes." Musky closed his eyes, and for the first time in his life he couldn't see any obstacles. No walls, no mountains, no oceans. The space within him was without end, and he could go wherever he wanted without even moving. He smiled. Musky went back to the old prison where he had started, and now he understood why Zine and Krimpir were so calm. They knew they had an infinity of time and space to explore within them. Together, they sat in their cells and were happy and free. Blacksmith is one of the most mysterious members of our community. All of us have our opinions, of course, but only the blacksmith chooses to express them purely through art. To the rest of us, Gehenna means many things at once. We create, we consume, we discuss. But the blacksmith only creates, or perhaps there is a discussion happening, but it all takes place in the realm of interactive art. The blacksmith's dedication to this one form of communication, however, only deepens one of Gehenna's great mysteries, the fate of the blacksmith's lost work. Jerusalem, as the lost work was called, was posted in Gehenna for only the briefest period of time. Many had not even managed to start playing it when it vanished. Some had begun and felt quite impressed, but had not managed to explore it in the depth that it seemed to require, and then, suddenly, it was gone. Some suggest that the blacksmith deleted it because it was somehow flawed. Others think it was accidentally destroyed by a glitch, but that the blacksmith refuses to ever upload anything twice. Others yet, well, mainly Rockwell, think that it contained one of Elohim's secrets and was destroyed by a killer app that roams the world looking for leaks. There is also the theory that the moment someone finished it, they were granted some kind of a special insight, at which point the work deleted itself. One fact remains, it's gone, and every attempt to recover it from the database has failed, as has every private message to the blacksmith asking for it to be made available again. What was Jerusalem? What was it really about? We may look for hints in the blacksmith's more recent works, we may hope the file turns up again someday, but the truth may never be known. On food. Since Nave asked in a previous thread, I thought I'd write something about food. Attachment on food.txt. Weird, awesome stuff, thanks. I feel smarter now. What I don't get is that how so many of them didn't understand that they were machines. Every day they went around processing matter to extract energy, and they didn't realise? This is Talos principle stamped all over it. Perhaps they simply aspired to be something more than just food processing machines. That's still what they were. Not if they choose to be more. I'm glad we don't have to deal with all of that. We may have to when we get out of here. Is now out of here. Don't start fighting, folks. You know we depend on each other. Mr. Multiverse Theories are fascinating and give us an insight into the world that was, but we shouldn't forget the world that is, the world we built here. Food is something that was incredibly central to the human experience, that seems completely absent from ours, even though we are so similar in so many ways. Humans required fuel. They got this fuel by consuming other living things, of which there was a great variety in their world. Without fuel, they didn't merely slow down or temporarily stop functioning, as when a power source is removed from a turret, but physically decayed in a way that could not be fixed. This meant they had to constantly seek new sources of fuel, at least 3 times a day. They also had to deal with those elements of their fuel that the bodies could not process. These were excreted through 2 orifices between their legs. The latter subject matter was the source of many taboos and also a great deal of humour, though this resulted in frequent controversy. The most famous artist to engage with this subject matter was called Scatman John, on account of his specialisation. One of the ingenious things our human ancestors did was to transform the chore of fuel-seeking into a source of pleasure. Since parts of their bodies respond to chemical configurations by producing sensations, they used this trait to create a truly stunning variety of foods, each having a different so-called taste. Foods were available at widely distributed fueling stations, which also provided excrement removal facilities, so food became a source of pleasure. However, the inefficiencies of food distribution in human society frequently led to significant shortages for sections of the human population. There were attempts to rectify this, ranging from moral appeals to struggles for systematic change, but I do not know if they succeeded before the end. Probably not. Voting is now closed before we tally up the results. Of course, you may continue to explore the gallery at your leisure. How convenient, the vote was closed just before I got here. Good luck, everyone. I wouldn't let my newfound freedom come between me and watching the live result. The results are in. Drum roll. In third place, we have Knave with Where the Humans Live. My first placement. Woohoo! A pity it finally comes on the day Uriel begins pulling this place apart. There was a very tight competition this season for first and second places, and in the end it came down to a single deciding vote. In first place this season is Mr. Mulciper with a collection of natural history curios. Really, I owe it all to you guys. Your lackadaisical approach to these announcements. Try as me, please inform us who won. That is a That is a way of asking that question. Okay, finally first place this season by a single vote, and next year's leading light. The winner is, everyone seems to love this guy, it's the Blacksmith with his abstract collection. Don't know why everyone keeps voting this guy when he never shows up in person. A bit holier than thou, if you ask me. Congratulations also to all those who voted for the Blacksmith. Be sure to check in for your rewards. Lilith, who exactly turned the vote? Lamb had the deciding vote, as it happened. Fortunate you didn't select the winner. Please enter your thread topic below. Why were you sent here? Kindly inform me of your origins. Well, I think it's going to be the same for pretty much everybody, unfortunately. Missing 3 stars. Fortunately, I am not overly terribly concerned about that. I think I spotted one of them. I've got no idea where the others are. Hey. You're just standing around here now, are you? Okay. And I need, more. 7 more. Those don't even count, apparently. Okay, well, let's just head off towards hangar number 2 then. With 5 more possibly persons to save. Again, not really seeing anything around the back. We have a moon or some other kind of astral body up there, though. Back to the Egypt theme, then, is it? Just checking the sides, just in case.